Hey guys, today we're solving one-step equations using addition and subtraction on this Nearpod. Okay, and you can connect the dots if you like. Alright, so here's the first problem. Here are the steps for solving equations. You are trying to isolate the variable or get it by itself is what that means by using inverse operations. Inverse means opposite operations. So this entire video is going to be on addition and subtraction. So they are opposites. So when you see addition, we're going to subtract. When you see subtraction, we are going to add. Okay. Also think about these equations like that balance scale. If we took something off one side, we have to take it off the other side so that it stays equal. We're trying to solve for v, so we want to get v by itself. Right now it's v plus 5 equals 15. I see this plus 5, so I'm going to use the inverse of plus 5, which is minus 5. So I'm going to show my work on both sides. Please make sure you're showing your work and not just writing the answer, even though I'm sure many of you guys could do this in your head. 5 minus 5 is 0, so I'm going to cross this out. I'm left with v equals 15 minus 5 is 10. Again, I know a lot of you guys can just reason what number plus 5 equals 15. 10 plus 5 equals 15, which means v must be 10. But we are practicing using inverse operations to solve these problems so that when you get 2-step, 3-step, multi-step equations, you'll be able to solve them. Here's the next one. We're solving for x this time. I see it's plus 17. The 17 plus x equals 21. We're going to use inverse operations, so the opposite of adding 17 is subtracting 17. I'm going to take this 17 away from the left side and away from the right side. Got to keep it balanced, got to keep it equal. 17 minus 17 is 0, so x equals 21 minus 17 is 4. You can always check your work by plugging in that value back in here to our original equation. Does that make sense? Is 17 plus 4 21? Yes. I'm going pretty quickly, but you can always pause these videos, rewind it, watch it again to make sure you know how to solve these using the correct steps. This time we're solving for w. We're using inverse operations to solve and isolate the variable. I see minus 7, so I'm going to use the inverse of minus 7, which is to add 7. I'm going to be sure I add 7 to both sides of this equal sign. Remember that balance scale we got to do to both sides to keep it balanced, to keep it equal. Negative 7 plus 7 is just 0, so I'm going to cross that out, and we're left with w equals 15 plus 7 is 22. Vocabulary check there. I'm going to keep on solving. Solve for t. 44 minus t equals 20. Okay, now this one is a little bit tricky. I see this minus here, right? So it makes you want to add 44. But we're not going to add 44 because, well, then we end up with 88 minus t equals 20. And that doesn't tell me what t is. Remember, once you do your steps and you solve your equation, you want it at the end for it to say t equals this or x equals this. This is what our mystery number is. But if we were to add 44, our equation doesn't get any smaller, doesn't get any easier. So that must not be right. Let me erase this work here. So we are actually going to subtract 44. We're going to take this 44 away. So even though you see that minus there, you got to think about what's actually happening in your equation, and you're doing the opposite of that. I'll subtract 44 over here. 44 minus 44 is 0. There we go. Now we know that's right. This minus t, we can't just get rid of this minus. That minus is going to end up being a negative t. Negative t equals 20 minus 44 is negative 24. If your variable is negative, we're going to do one more step. If negative t is negative 24, that must mean positive t is positive 24. It's like opposites. Solve for y. Okay, so we're going to do the opposite of what we see going on, and this one works out. We're going to try to isolate that variable. You hear that word a lot, isolate. That means to get it by itself. We want y to be by itself. We don't want this negative 10. So we're going to do the opposite. The inverse of negative 10 is plus 10. Make sure you do it on both sides over there. Negative 10 plus 10 is 0. So we're left with just y. Y is 27 plus 10, which is 37. And it doesn't matter if your y or your x or whatever your variable is. It doesn't matter if it's on the left or on the right. It can be on either side. Solve for b. All right, so we want to isolate the variable b by using inverse operations. The inverse of minus 11 is plus 11. Negative 11 plus 11 is 0. B equals 21 plus 11, 32. And we have one more. Actually, no, we don't. Okay, what is one thing you learned about equations? All right, there we go. I hope that helps.